Hello all, Tot here with a new video where I go over another horror movie I love so much. And again, it fits kind of the climate we're in as a species, as a culture, as a society. Culture, the climate of the culture, so to speak. And a lot of it's distrust, suspenseful stuff these days. Lots of bad things happening. Some good things too, but I don't want to really report on that. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse. But it all reminds me of something. Deepfakes especially. And again, I'm going to also talk about John Carpenter. Again, he's one of my favorite directors, and I seriously could make another 10 videos how much I love his work. It's not even close. But one is the one that I want to talk about, the one that's really relevant, I think, today is The Thing. Now, again, I will spoil the movie, but it's a good one, and I really like it. It really has come into my writings sometimes too. And it's really scary because it follows the story of Macready, a character in the Arctic, a man at an Arctic base. I think it's like pseudo military or maybe a science center, something like that, somewhere in there. And what happens is out in the cold, something they drop down, they see a dog running towards them. It's being chased by a man trying to take it out. Now, they think the man's crazy and the dog's safe. They couldn't have been more wrong. You see, that dog wasn't a dog. I'll get that later. You see, they go find the base the man came from that was chasing the dog, and it was destroyed, eviscerated. It's like, what did this? And they figure it out. You see, that wasn't no dog. That was an alien, a xenomorph, basically, an alien shapeshifter. You know, not the other xenomorph, but like the legitimate one in name only. And it freaking mutates by absorbing the other dogs. Now the other dogs didn't trust it. When I watched that movie, I I took that into account. I'm like, the dogs seem something's off. And I trust dogs, okay? I really do. More so sometimes than I trust people. It's really come back to help me. But this movie dealt with a lot of psychological terror. It was more of a war on privacy, on community, on human connection, because it becomes a kind of search mission for what is infected with the thing and who is the thing and who isn't. And they do a really ingenious test, by the way. Again, great writing, where they take a piece of hot metal and they stick it in some blood. Because you see, the thing is a very multicellular organism. Every single cell in that thing can attack and replicate. And it's not an organism of any kind that can't be transformed, and nothing's safe. And several times you see it. And at the end of the movie, it's trying to build a spaceship after taking hold of one of the crew members. Again, if you want a deeper, in-depth review, don't come here. I don't blame you. And it comes down to McCready blowing the thing up, and him and another one of his co-members are stuck in the cold wondering who's the thing. It ends there. There isn't really a positive or negative resolution. The climax is just the question you've all been asking since the start of the movie: who's the thing? What is the thing? And they don't ever say it. And there's theories, but I don't know. I don't really side. I don't really seen many of them. I don't want to say who was who, but what. But really, it was really suspenseful, really psychological. And I find it very interesting. You see, my grandfather on my mother's side was an engineer in the Arctic. He was in Alaska, where it's cold. You really can't afford luxuries like bigotry or racism not working together. The environment's just that bad. And when he was working up there, he was stuck with a lot of people for a long period of time working on missile silos. It made me think, I thought about him. What happens if he got paranoid? Okay. What if he was near some missile or somebody else was near some missiles and they think the whole world's been infected by an alien being? Makes you think. What would happen? Because our world is more connected than we think, and there's a lot more powerful tools than even back then. And it just takes one crazy person with enough paranoia to push it to the point of no return, if you know what I'm meaning. But I don't think we'll get there. I think deep fakes are very powerful, but I think most people can figure them out, or at least think they're not real. It's getting harder, though. Again, I have somewhat of an eye for this, but it makes me wonder when will I won't? Because I'm quite paranoid even without before AI, and my ideas in these movies only survive is the only way to think is you're not paranoid enough. Like I feel this amount of distrust and social cohesion being withered away these days, and if an alien wanted to do that, they wouldn't attack by brute force. They tap by psychological force, propaganda, lies, cheating, subterfuge. And I see a lot of that happening because I don't really trust social media, everything on there. I don't think you should. And I think, again, we should be able to discriminate around data. And this movie reminds me of the merits of finding a way to suss it out, which I have discovered some ways of doing that, which I'd like to do for future videos. Thank you. Have a nice day. Like, share, and subscribe.